It has returned. First McRib of 2013. There are two kinds of people in the world. Those who enjoy a McRib and those who are appalled by it. Cheers to those who enjoy tangy barbecue goodness. I just saw a billboard sign that said, "The McRib is back." I hope this is it. I'm about to have some glorious McRib.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Oh yeah.
Looks like he's crying.
So good. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of In the Kitchen Cookin'. You'll have to forgive the longer than normal delay. After almost 3 years, C19 finally caught up to me. I think I got it when I was out on this trip with some friends, hanging out before When We Were Young, because at the When We Were Young festival, I started to get a little sore throat and my nose was running, and I thought, oh, this is just from being outside. It's been really windy, it's been super cold, but the next morning I woke up and I was like, no, I finally got it. And so I did the nose probe, did the little drops, and in like 2 minutes, it was like, yeah, you're positive. Once it moved to my chest, I sounded like a chain smoker, and I was like, I can't film the video. So now that I don't sound like I've been smoking my entire life, finally getting around to doing a new video. So thank you again for your patience. Had a great time at When We Were Young, had a great time with my friends, listening to the music, all those old bands like Hawthorne Heights.
I can't make it up.
And Avril Lavigne and new bands like Bayside and The Source so far. They all put on a super great show, and I can't wait for next year because I got tickets for the next one. So it's going to be great, but we are here and we are now, and we are going to be making today a Copycat McRib. As some of you know, I used to be a huge McRib enthusiast. I would post on this website called McRib Locator, where fans of the McRib would take a picture of their receipt to prove they had a McRib, and then it would drop a pin on the map so people in that area could go get a McRib. So when it was McRib season, I would hunt down that website to see if there were any in Orange County. I was even featured on the website one time. I'll try and find that post if it still exists. So that was pretty cool. I even had a girlfriend at one time who drove with me to multiple McDonald's to try and find McRib. And then there was one time where a friend of mine, it was New Year's, and she texted me and she was like, hey, my mom and I want to know when you're getting your first McRib. And I was currently at a McDonald's eating a McRib when they text me that. So I used to love the McRib, and the reason I say used to is because I just can't eat them like I used to. When I have them, I need a nap afterward. And in the last video, I did the peanut butter, banana, and bacon sandwich. I literally, no exaggeration, took a 1 hour nap right after I ate that sandwich. Like, it wiped me out. And the same happens when I have the McRib. And people would always send me articles that say, oh, do you know what's in the McRib? And I used to be like, oh, I don't care, it's so good. Now I care. It really does weigh me down. I had one this year because it's back, and that's what made me want to do this video of making my own. But even if after I had that one, I was like, I can't eat these anymore. They just destroy me. I have to sleep. And so hopefully making my own Copycat one will help with that feeling of restlessness and needing a nap, because as you can see behind me, and we're about to review, we are going to be working with some real ingredients and not yoga mat material or fake pork. This is all real ingredients, real bread, real pork. So let's go look at what we're working with today. For our ingredients, we have fresh pork. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this in a food processor and ground it up, and then we're gonna make it look like ribs. And that's what McDonald's claims they do, but who knows if it's fresh pork in the McDonald's McRib. So just like McDonald's, they're not real ribs. We're not making a real rib sandwich, but we're gonna form the pork to look like ribs. And for that reason, I got these latex gloves because I really hate touching raw food. So having those is gonna help when we put the pork in the food processor and ground it up. And then with that, one thing that we can't do is make McDonald's fries. There's no way you can copy those. They're never gonna be as good or better. McDonald's fries are on their own level, but I love lemon chips, so I think that'll be a worthy substitute. Then we got the hoagie rolls, and then we have onions and pickles. Now, when I get my McRib from McDonald's, I don't do the pickles and onions because in elementary school, we used to get hot lunch delivered to our school, and they would do McDonald's hamburgers sometimes. But by the time they got to our school, they were all lukewarm and kind of nasty. And I vividly remember, just thinking about it right now, the taste of the pickles and onions from McDonald's just grosses me out so much. But I think since I'm working with real ingredients, I got some pickles and some diced onions. So we're gonna put those on this sandwich that I'm making. So I think it'll be pretty good. And then I could have made my own barbecue sauce, but I just got some Stubbs barbecue sauce. I just really didn't want to go through the effort of like trying to make my own barbecue sauce. It would have added a lot of ingredients and made the video like 30 minutes, and I just wasn't feeling that. So we got some pre-made barbecue sauce, but I didn't get the Kroger brand or the Ralph's brand. We're just gonna go with some good Stubbs brand barbecue. So excited to try that. And then I think that's everything. So let's get to grounding up this pork and having a little arts time and see how it turns out. So I got my gloves on, and I was taking the pork out and preparing it on my cutting board because we're gonna cut it up in 1-inch pieces. And then I felt bone, and I was supposed to buy boneless. And I swear to you, when I bought these, it said boneless, but now looking at it, it says BI, which means bone in. So I'm gonna have to cut around the bone and then make those 1-inch pieces, but I will time lapse that. And before we throw it in the processor, we'll touch base. All right, that was quite the workout. Definitely would not recommend that. If you can, go to the butcher or like the guy behind the counter and ask him to chop it up for you. My forearm is killing me. I'm definitely glad I have these gloves because that was disgusting. But now, I don't know why, but just the idea of putting it in this food processor and grounding it up has me kind of grossed out. I know it'll taste good in the end, but since I looked up this recipe, I've been dreading this part. So let's throw it in the processor. We're gonna throw it in with 3 tablespoons of water and then 1 tablespoon of sugar, no vinegar for my OG fans. So we're gonna do that and we're gonna blend it up and then see how it turns out. And then from there, we're gonna mold it, but let's get to that step first. I'm pretty sure when I was transferring stuff in there, I felt a little bit of bone. So if a bone comes shooting out into my chest, call 911. All right, here we go, the moment of truth. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I've never been really good at like forming or building things or like arts and crafts or Legos. So we'll see how this turns out. I'm reminded of a story of when I was growing up, my parents rarely ever got me Legos because I would get frustrated with them when they would like fall apart. And one time for my birthday, a friend of mine got me a TIE Fighter Lego set, and I was really determined to like build it and show him that I like appreciated his gift, and I put it to good use. Like I built it, and I actually did it. I built the TIE Fighter. It looked great. I took some pictures so I could get the pictures and like send them to him in my thank you card. And right after I took the picture, I went to move it and a piece snapped off. And in my non-self-control, I lost my temper and I took the Lego set and I threw it against the wall and it exploded into a million pieces. So I've come a long way, but if I do get frustrated as I'm molding these, I'm just gonna like give up. I'm not gonna get frustrated. It's all gonna end up in the same in my stomach. So hopefully we can make it look like the McRib, but I'm not gonna stress about it. I'm not gonna throw it against the wall. So another time lapse, here we come, but I'll see you on the other side. I'm pretty certain McDonald's has like a little thing that they can use to like make the ribs stamp, but I'm not gonna lie, like for what I was expecting, these look like trash, but for what I can do, this is pretty impressive. So my trash is my treasure, and I really think they don't look sexy, and but I'm proud. I think I got the little indentations in there. I'm not gonna complain. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna actually throw these in the freezer for 2 hours. And if I was a fancy cooking show, I'd be like, well, I have those in the freezer. I already have some ready, but I don't. So I'm gonna go watch the Cowboy game. And then after that's done, it should be about 2 hours. I will come back and we will finish up. It might be dark outside because it's daylight savings, my favorite time of year when it gets dark early. But I'll see you in a little bit. Well, you can see it's dark outside. We are back 2 hours later. We do have an extra ingredient, my tears, because the Cowboys blew it in overtime. There's still 6-3, but I'm not hopeful. That was a hideous game. And if they revert to those old ways, they're toast. But anyways, let's see how these turned out. The shape, isn't really there. But once we cook it and put some barbecue sauce, I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference. I'm only gonna cook one of these right now. I'll probably just keep the other 2 frozen in Ziplocs. The recipe actually called for 4, but the way I built them, I only got 3. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set a pan, because I don't have a griddle, to a medium to high heat, and we're gonna cook each side for about 4 to 5 minutes. That'll be enough to cook it all the way through, get it nice and brown. And then we're going to take a cup of barbecue sauce and lather it up and then kind of build the sandwich from there. So unfortunately my McRib started to fall apart as I coated it with the barbecue sauce. I still think it'll be fine, it just won't be in one piece. Really quick, we're gonna butter some of the hoagie bread, and then we're gonna put it on the remaining heat of the pan just to get it a little bit toasted, and then we'll throw on the pickles and the onions and the patty, and we will do our taste test. This smells like the real deal. This smells like a real McDonald's McRib. As you can see, it came out really good. I mean, it doesn't look pretty, but I'm fairly impressed with the added pickles and the onions. And then even though my patty fell apart, it's still covered in barbecue sauce. And the barbecue sauce I chose turned out to be pretty close to like the McDonald's barbecue sauce. So there's only one thing left to do, and that's to try it out. Here we go. So yeah, that came out really good. I think the balance of the pickles and the onions, like I mentioned, I usually don't get that on my McRibs from McDonald's, but in this Copycat one, it really brought out like that perfect balance. I think the pickles had that extra crunch along with the onions, and then it made kind of a good comparison with the patty and how smooth that came out. So I think this is a win. Now that I know to make my own when it's not McRib season and I'm having that hankering, I know I can just whip one up really quick, and those patties can be easily stored away. So if you need a quick lunch, you just thaw one out or just throw it on the grill like I did. I probably had the heat on a little too high. You might want to go with like a 5 or 6 on an electric stove, or like a medium if you have like just the the heat levels. But other than that, everything else came out pretty smooth. Hopefully you're a little more artsy than I am and can mold your McRib to be a little more form-fitting. But hey, it works. I'm pretty stoked about how this tastes. So that'll do it for another episode of In the Kitchen Cooking. I really appreciate you all coming by. Might try and do something like holiday theme related. Somebody requested that I do maybe like a mixed drink, so I might try and do like a combination of the two for just a holiday special. And then it's gonna be 2023 before we know it. I just can't believe that. It's so crazy, but really appreciate all the support. I think we're now up to 111 subscribers. That is beyond what I imagined. I never thought I'd even get past 50 to 111. So huge shout out to all my new subscribers. I thank you so much. So hopefully you like this one. If you try it out, let me know. And when it's not McRib season, we can all partake together. All right, I'll see you next time.